Well, it didn't take long for Dave Smith to change his tune, or because all he had to see was a Candace Owens podcast. And he says that last night, Candace Owens had a phenomenal podcast that is truly one for the ages. Right. I think you and I disagree vehemently on that. But anyway, at one point in the show, Candace asked that me and Tucker both disclose whatever information we have about Charlie's state of mind, specifically backstage at the Turning Point USA event. So that's what I did today. I give all the info I have, including texts that Charlie sent me with his thoughts on my debate with Douglas Murray and Israel in general. Typically, I would never share private text messages, but under the circumstances, it seems like the right move. And apparently, he is sharing this on YouTube on his show tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So by the time this video is out, Dave Smith probably would have already shared it. And I think that's going to mean another video about Dave Smith tomorrow. I made a video when Dave Smith came out and was defending the fact that there is no evidence that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. And he was also calling out people that claimed that Israel killed Charlie Kirk, being Candace Owens. But I think I was a little bit premature in making that video, to be honest, because this just destroys all kind of some decency that he may have had left. It's no longer there. It's all gone, ladies and gentlemen. The three Musketeers are gearing up to share more dirt on Charlie Kirk. John Root goes, Candace Owens is a serial liar, grifter, manipulator, and egomaniac that shows little to no fruits of the spirit. She says outlandish things for clicks, clout, and coin. And for some reason, people still follow, defend, and platform her. Yeah, because they're all dingbats like her. She's a disease. She's a disease. Has been for a long time. Why doesn't her parish do what the Bible calls us to do in these situations and enact church discipline? I wonder. Candace Owens has officially broken the sound barrier of conspiracy. It's not enough to hint or just ask questions anymore. She's shamelessly insinuating that Charlie Kirk was murdered by the Jews so they could seize Turning Point USA. And the proof? Her common sense. She's not got any common sense, but anyway, that's it. No evidence, no sources, just the same. Trust me, everyone is telling me privately routine she always pulls. She seems to have lots of friends in her ear, constantly telling her, this is what's going on, Candace. This is what I've heard. I've got a friend. I've got reliable sources, never once revealing it. Hey, I can do the exact same thing. I've got a very reliable source that Candace Owens is lying about everything. I've got a very reliable source, guys. And guess what? You're going to have to stick around because tomorrow's video, I will reveal that source. There's a very powerful source. I got very powerful people behind me, guys, that are all coming after Candace Owens at the moment. Guess what? There's going to be a lawsuit. See, all the stuff that I mentioned just a moment ago, I don't have a reliable source, except for the fact you're going to have to trust me. Trust Jay. But that's her whole shtick, isn't it? Let's say the most provocative, crazy thing on the face of the earth, and then get people to believe it. Propaganda. The video that I made prior to this coming out. And Charlie Kirk's pastor even saying, like, this is not how you treat your friend. Especially the fact that your friend is dead, woman. Stop. Remember, this is the same Candace who claimed Jews are demonic, that Joseph Mengele's death camp experiments might have been propaganda, and that rabbis are literally paying pastors to take her down. She's even received some 18th century Frankist fan fiction and presented it like a smoking gun. Now she wants you to believe those same Jews orchestrated Charlie Kirk's killing with the help of the FBI and some random gay leftist, and somehow every single person around Kirk is being controlled like the marionette to lie about her. She has even accused Ian Miles Chong of being paid by these same secretive Jews. If only. It's almost impressive. She managed to recycle every anti-Semitic trope in the book and turn Charlie's death into her own personal protocols of the elders of Turning Point USA. You know what that is? It's sick. It's actually demonic. She's calling Jews demonic, worshippers of the synagogue of Satan. But guess what, Candace Owens? Not today. Because today, you are part of the church of Satan. You are worshipping Satan. You are trying to tarnish your supposed good friend's name. All for what? What does this do? Huh? What are you trying to do? What's the whole purpose of this? And she goes, sorry, you murdered my friend. You unlocked the Inigo Montoya in me. Reference to The Princess Bride. We're not stopping. Who's we? Until we get to the bottom of this thing. Who is we exactly? You and the demon that's actually controlling you? Yeah, more than likely. Called it. So Ian Carroll says, the Daily Wire was so broke their credit cards shut off last year. They had to fire like half their people and shutter whole divisions of their organization to stay afloat. But they have a cool mill sitting around to donate. You know, donation is tax deductible, just so you're wondering, especially if it's to a organization like Turning Point USA. Just wanted to point that out. So they could do a complete and utter tax write-off of that mill. And I don't think the Daily Wire is broke. But, of course, they're going to claim that Israel is donating to Turning Point USA via Daily Wire. There you go. Fuel the narrative even more. Michaela Peterson weighs in. She had hoped that this tragedy from Charlie Kirk would actually bring people together. No, you got lots of these conspiracy theorists and bad faith actors all coming after the gold pot, as it were. And Candace has gone, all BB had to do was not lie on Charlie's name in the aftermath and we wouldn't be here. Really? I somehow don't believe that. I don't believe anything you say, woman. I really don't. And Billboard Chris responds to Dave Smith. Look at this disgusting man. He's sharing Charlie's private text with Candace Owens so she can speculate about Charlie's state of mind, spin a narrative, and bash Israel. Did he ask Erica Kirk how she feels about him sharing Charlie's messages? Given the situation, according to Dave Smith, it feels right. No, that is absolutely disgusting and despicable behavior, if you ask me. Oh, and by the way, Seth Dillon responded, clearing things up. He responded not to Candace's text, he responded on X. So set the record straight for everyone to see so that Candace doesn't try and spin it like she always does. So he gets a text message from Charlie Kirk inviting him to the influencer retreats at the Hamptons. The retreat took place on August 4th and 5th. At least 30 people attended. I only knew a handful of people personally. Charlie stood at the front of the room. He spoke a little, then opened the floor for discussion, etc., etc. On one concern Charlie raised, which I believe he also raised publicly, was about free speech. He felt that criticism of Israel was so discouraged, so penalized, that we aren't really free to voice it. Some in the room agreed with him. I argued that while it can come at a cost in certain contexts, it also pays pretty handsomely in others. There are people who are generating massive audiences and engagement by doing little other than criticizing Israel and Jews. It's quite profitable. I pointed out that in my case, it was criticizing the critics that had come at a high cost. Prominent figures on the right now have me in their crosshairs as an enemy who must be destroyed. That I'm in a position where I feel the need to write this post and clear my name of any wrongdoing is further evidence of this. Exactly. I did not organize or participate in an intervention with Charlie. I was there at his personal request. I did not coerce him or threaten him or pressure him or witness anyone else do any of these things. We spent 2 days hearing from our friend both his concerns and his wisdom, and he took the time to listen to and encourage each of us. He welcomed our feedback and debate. That's why we were there. I'm sick with grief over the loss of my friend, and that sadness is compounded by the fact that instead of honoring Charlie and his legacy, his name is being exploited to generate controversy, confusion, and conspiracies. My heart breaks for everyone involved whose integrity and affection for Charlie are being called into question. And guess where that started? Candace, you have started a firestorm, one that you should never have done. I'm sure there will be responses to this that accuse me of dishonesty. I know in advance that they'll be coming from notoriously dishonest people. Boom. I've also attached screenshots of my correspondence with Charlie and his team to support what I've said. So he does. The Hamptons event. Here's what we know so far. Charlie organized the event by invitation only. The focus of the event was saving the West. Israel was not a topic of the event whatsoever. Max Blumenthal, who runs a news outlet funded by Russia and Iran, made up an entire story about the Hamptons event. Candace Owens used that story to run a hit piece on Bill Ackman, who had zero affiliation with the event beyond being a speaker discussing the economy. Charlie Kirk's own executive producer confirmed that Ackman in no way harassed or yelled at Charlie. There was no intervention, nothing. Candace Owens then takes the defensive, saying people made up stuff about her, somehow manages to play the victim. Turns out, unsurprisingly, Candace trusted a news outlet by run by a communist because it portrays Israel in a bad light. Rather than people that mourn Charlie Kirk, including Charlie's own pastor, they had to spend the last 24 hours under assault from Candace Owens. It's truly evil and wicked beyond anything that I have seen so far.
Her leader.
She is something else. She really is. I want to show you guys this. This is her, 3 minutes, talking about how she's not just asking questions anymore. Have a watch.
Okay, I can tell you that. You're either going to take being kicked in the chest, okay, and told get out, and then suddenly they're all communicating behind your back, and just where he talks about that article, something goes out and suddenly it's like, what's going on? They're like trying to make you think you're going crazy because you're saying some sensible stuff. Charlie was at that moment. He says that he is receiving messages calling him an anti-Semite. So how can you lie right now and dispute it? And better question, why are you lying? I don't like little lies. I'm being contacted by a lot of people that are telling me that just within 48 hours before Charlie passed away, his top Jewish donors were pulling funding from him, demanding that Charlie take their name off of the building that they had donated to Turning Point. I guess I can figure out who that is, how many people could have donated a building. And then once Charlie was killed, they said, never mind, put it back on the building. Okay. Charlie himself had alluded to a tremendous loss of money coming in. And we'll speak about that more. More people are going to come out with information. This is all inevitable. Okay. And I'll also point you in this direction. You guys remember Bibi recently was on a PR blitz, despite the fact that he was, fighting this 96,000 front war because Israel didn't do nothing. Okay. He was doing a ton of podcasts in America. He went on to Patrick Bet-David's podcast. He went on to Brendan Tatum's podcast. He went on to the Nelk Boys podcast. Anybody find it weird he didn't do Charlie Kirk's show? Homie very quickly told us that Charlie was penning love letters to him in May. I just love you so much. It's amazing. They were so close. The boys just hits him up like, hey, I know we're fighting this 97,000 front war because we're always the victims, but do you want to just come and maybe stay at my place for the weekend here in Israel? Like, that's the vibe that Bibi was rushing to present to the media. So why didn't he do Charlie Kirk's show? I'll leave that as a question for you guys. Common sense, okay? I don't like small lies. And remember, Bibi started this. I am responding to his shameless misrepresentation of what Charlie was going through and what Charlie was saying. Because, and I want to be clear, to me right now, it feels, and I'm using a corporate term here, a bit like a hostile takeover, okay? Charlie builds the company organically on the basis of Charlie and Charlie's honest ideas. Suddenly, that company's got a lot of money, and Charlie's honest ideas are starting to change or maybe add more color. And now he's getting financial threats. He's being called names. He increasingly, he's being told who and what he's allowed to speak to. And he's taking a stance. He's taking a stand privately up to these people. And then it doesn't matter anymore because Charlie's dead. And those very same people who were pressing him are now doing, like, very quickly trying to set in stone that, oh, Charlie, essentially the energy is Charlie died for Israel. He's just one of us. Nobody ask any more questions. That is literally untrue, and we're not going to.
And then after she said all that crazy stuff, and I could spend another 20, 30 minutes unpacking what she said, here's the last video that I'll show you. It's about 50 seconds long. This is what mental illness looks like. This is what demonic possession looks like in a nutshell. Have a watch.
There's more people involved. That's what I'm going to say to you guys. There is very clearly more people involved, okay? This feels to me like a conspiracy. And am I emotionally invested in this? Yes. Somebody said something to, oh, you're unstable. Yeah, you know what? You're right. I have been destabilized by watching Charlie Kirk catch a bullet in his neck and then being gaslit and told nothing to see here. We've got people all around him that are telling little lies. I don't like this, okay? This doesn't feel clean to me. I need timestamps. If you're going to be transparent, be transparent. I'm not saying that you're being dishonest, that you have these text messages. I am saying that I need them in my timeline.
The gaslighter gaslights us all. And it doesn't help when you've got people like Dave Smith and Carol and the whole lot of them encouraging this. Hey, Dave Smith, if you're watching this, don't you think that in memory and in honor of Charlie Kirk, you wouldn't engage in what Candace Owens is doing? You wouldn't actually bring light to anything that Candace Owens is doing. You said there's no evidence of Israel's involvement. So what the hell are you trying to do? Maybe do the right thing for a change. Maybe do the honorable thing. Maybe do something for Charlie's memory. That's a good thing, perhaps. Let his wife grieve. Maybe don't go beyond his wife and share private text messages. There's a reason why they are private. Don't share them, especially not to Candace Owens. Anyway, that's enough from me, but you guys take care, be blessed, and I'll see you all in the next video.